right. So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called ICU 2002, also known as Detox. I'm looking at the Detox poster. It has Sylvester Stallone. It says survival as a killer from the director of I Know What You Did Last Summer, Detox. Not a bad looking poster. Detox is a 2002 U.S. thriller film. This is going to be another Karate Man recommendation. And oh, by the way, A Man Called Horse was another Adrian recommendation. I knew somebody mentioned it. A Man Called Horse. Adrian had the DVD, so he must have mentioned it. Nobody else could have. All right. Detox, also known as ICU, is directed by Jim Gillespie and starring Sylvester Stallone. The supporting cast features Tom Berenger, Charles S. Dutton, Polly Walker, Robert Patrick, Stephen Lang, Jeffrey Wright, Courtney B. Vance, and Kris Kristofferson. This is the first in the last 4 movies that doesn't have nudity in it. The film had a limited release in the U.S. on September 20th, 2022, under the title ICU by DEJ Productions. The film is based on a 1999 novel Jitter Joint written by Howard Swindle. All right, production companies: Universal Pictures, Casey Median, Capella International, distributed by DEJ Productions in North America, and United International Pictures internationally. Release dates are February 1st, 2002 in the United Kingdom and September 20th, 2002 in the United States. Running time, 96 minutes. Good, decent running time. Language, English. Budget, $55 million. And box office, $6.4 million. This was a huge flop. While FBI agent Jake Malloy pursues a serial killer who targets police officers in Seattle, his former partner becomes a victim. At his partner's home, the killer calls Malloy from Malloy's home. The killer says Malloy pursued him earlier for a series of prostitute murders. As revenge, he kills Mary, Malloy's girlfriend. I like the kills in the beginning. They use some kind of power tool through the eyeball. Very brutal. And this movie is dark in general, especially when they move up to Wyoming. Malloy pursues the killer only to find that he appears to have committed suicide. 3 months later, Malloy descends into alcoholism. After a suicide attempt, Malloy's best friend and supervising officer, Agent Chuck Hendricks, enrolls Malloy in a rehabilitation program for law enforcement officers run by Dr. John Doc Mitchell, a former cop and recovering alcoholic, played by Kris Kristofferson. Haven't seen him in a movie since I can't remember. Hendricks stays in Wyoming to ensure Malloy will be okay. Malloy meets several other officers who are patients in the clinic, including Peter Noah, an arrogant and paranoid ex-SWAT officer Frank Slater, a cynical British police officer, Willie Jones, a religious homicide detective, Jaworski, a narcotics cop who attempted suicide, Lopez, a temperamental LAPD officer, and Mackenzie, an elderly member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police who witnessed his partner's murder. He meets several staff members, including Doc's assistant and mechanic, Hank, and compassionate resident psychiatrist and nurse, Jenny Monroe, with whom Malloy develops a bond. So we've got a lot of lamestream newer actors in this one. Caught me on a day off, so some time to see my reviews. Oh, nice. Well, the next three on my list are The 39 Steps, 1935, The Vampire Bat, 1933, and Cobra, 1986. Those are the next three coming down the pike for you, Adrian. I just mentioned that I kind of knew that you mentioned A Man Called Horse a couple years ago, but I couldn't remember. That's why I didn't say it was an Adrian recommendation at the time of recording A Man Called Horse 1970 movie review, but I am mentioning it twice now. And it's good to see you in the chat room. I saw your DNA thing that you bought for like $70 and you uploaded it to YouTube, and it's your only short. I gave it a thumbs up. A blizzard seals everyone in the rehab center without outside communication. Jenny finds the body of Connor, a troubled patient who apparently killed himself, but Jenny believes Connor would have sought help. The next morning, Hank finds another apparent suicide, but Malloy believes otherwise. Doc locks up the surviving patients while he reviews their files. Jenny informs Doc that Jack Bennett, an orderly who is a former patient, is missing after an axe-wielding man kills Doc. Everyone but Malloy and Jenny suspect Jack. Malloy returns to the cop's sidearms. Hendricks finds a dead cop in a frozen lake, and he returns to the clinic with the owner of a nearby fishing shop. He wanted to do fishing in the middle of a snowstorm. I like the first couple of kills, and then I also like the dark setting of Wyoming in the middle of a snow blizzard. Hank, the clinic's cook, Manny, and helper Gilbert volunteered to drive through the blizzard to get help. While driving away, Hank veers away from something. The truck slides off the icy road and it crashes. Malloy and Jenny hear the crash, and Malloy hands a gun to Jenny before investigating. Malloy finds Manny murdered, and also Malloy found Jack's body, which caused the crash. Gilbert flees while Malloy rushes back to the clinic. The killer electrocutes Mackenzie, deactivating the building's power and heating system. Malloy forces everyone except Jenny to their cells, realizing a murderer is impersonating a cop. Suspecting this is Mary's killer, Malloy finds evidence on Connor's body to support this. He sees ICU on the frozen stiff's eyelids, on the inside of their eyelids. As Malloy and Jenny return to the cells, Hank, suspecting Malloy, knocks him out. He locks Malloy in Slater's cell, and he releases everyone else. Malloy finds a matchbook in Slater's cell from a Seattle restaurant frequented by cops, identifying him as the killer. Malloy realizes Slater had been observing him and other policemen he murdered at the restaurant. Malloy escapes, and Malloy finds the missing badges above Slater's room, which he collects as trophies. After establishing his innocence, Malloy has Jones and Lopez conduct patrol, while Jaworski stays with Jenny. Malloy heads into the tunnels beneath the facility, unaware that Slater is the killer. Hank and Noah help him retrieve logs in the tunnels for heating. Slater convinces them to split up before killing each. As Malloy patrols the tunnels, Slater taunts him over a CB radio, and Slater lures Malloy to Noah's hang body, where he finds the other radio. After leaving the clinic, Slater hears Jenny call Malloy. Malloy learns Slater is at the tunnel's trapdoor, and he rushes to save Jenny. Outside the installation, Hendricks and the fishing shop owner find Gilbert alive, and they take him to the rehab center. Hendricks follows Jenny's footprints. Jenny runs to a nearby Kunset hut, hiding from Slater. Malloy arrives, telling Jenny to stay inside the shed. Slater mistakenly catches Hendricks before Malloy catches him from behind. Slater jumps into the shed, knocks Jenny out, and Slater wounds Hendricks. After a fight, Malloy finally kills Slater by impaling him to the spikes of his snow machine. Jenny regains consciousness, and she helps Hendricks walk to the clinic with Malloy. I won't even mention the ending because the ending was super lame. Why would you do the ending like that? I don't know. Man Called Horse looks so different today from when I saw it on TV as a kid. Really? So they must have cut out the TP dry humping scene. All right. In December 1997, it was announced a Brian Grazer produced film from Imagined Entertainment about witness protection starring Sylvester Stallone was in process of being greenlit at Universal. In July 1998, the film was formally announced under the title Detox, with Jim Gillespie slated to direct from a script by Ron Brickenhoff, who previously worked as a staff researcher for Imagine. The film was shot in Washington, D.C. and Vancouver. So they're leading you to believe that it was the locations were Seattle and Wyoming. After the film was finished in 1999, Universal decided to screen it to a test audience, but all of the screenings of the first cut were met with negative reception from audiences. The film was then shelved for quite some time, with reshoots and story changes. While reshoots and story changes were being done, composer John Powell wrote 2 complete scores for the film, one of which was rejected. By the way, I couldn't stand the pop music at the end of the rolling credits for this one. And I did have to listen to the rolling credits because it was a free FilmRise version of the movie on YouTube. So unlike Tubi and Amazon Prime that tend to cut off the rolling credits, this one I watched all the way through to the end. With the film delayed and relegated to a European release by Universal due to the studio's dissatisfaction with the film in general, most of Powell's score was replaced with additional music by William Ross, Jeff Zanelli, and Nick Glennie Smith as an attempt to make the film salvageable. A new ending was also filmed in which the main villain is killed in a different way. Even after reshoots and title changes, Universal did not care for the film, and after 10 Test screenings for the new version also got negative response from audiences. They shelved it. DEJ Productions acquired domestic distribution rights from Universal, and DEJ Productions released it over 3 years after it was originally finished, but in a limited release. In an interview with Ain't It Cool News in December 2006, Sylvester Stallone was asked why the film did not get a wide release. And then Stallone answered, "It's very simple why Detox landed in limbo. A film is a very delicate creature. Any adverse publicity or eternal shakeup can upset the perception of and studio confidence in a feature. For some unknown reason, the original producer pulled out, and right away the film was considered damaged goods. By the time we ended filming, there was trouble brewing on the set because of overages and creative concerns between the director and the studio. The studio let it sit on its shelf for many months, and after a year, it was decided to do a reshoot. We screened it, it tested okay. Ron Howard was involved with overseeing some of the post-production, but the movie had the smell of death about it. Actually, if you looked up, you could see celluloid buzzards circling as we lay there dying on the distributor's floor. One amusing note, it was funny when we were met at the airport by the Teamsters, they'd have a sign in front of them saying Detox, and all these actors like Kristofferson, Tom Berenger, and myself looked like we were going into rehab rather than a film shoot. During the original filming of Detox in 1999, Sylvester Stallone became attached to star in another Universal-produced film and action horror entitled Fatalis. Karate Man has not recommended Fatalis. Why? Written by novelist Jeff Rovin in 1998 and sold to Universal for over $1 million, the script for the film concerned a huge pack of saber-toothed tigers who came back to life after El Nino hurricane awakens them from being frozen inside an ancient sinkhole for thousands of years. They start attacking any humans they run into while moving down the mountains and through the woods before eventually attacking Los Angeles. Rovin, who wrote the novelization of Stallone's Cliffhanger in 1993, and his biography, wrote Fatalis was with Stallone in mind for the lead role of an anthropologist who, along with a female reporter he befriends, wants to capture the tigers alive as they are our last link with the past. However, the local sheriff wants to destroy them. The film went into pre-production by 2000, but following the huge failure of Detox and Stallone's other films, Universal ceased production and it went unproduced. Well, that's why Karate Man didn't recommend it. The Rovin later turned his script into a very successful novel of the same name. Rovin did the same with Vespers, another canceled action horror film from around the same time, which would have focused on giant bats that attacked New York City. When asked in 2021 about the chances of Fatalis being produced 20 years later, Rovin revealed that Stallone still owns the rights to the original story and he suspects it will not be produced. The film Detox, or ICU, has an approval rating of 17% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 23 reviews, with an average rating of a very low 3.5 out of 10. The site's consensus reads, whether it's being presented as Detox or ICU, this Stallone starring vehicle is slapdash thriller to actively avoid. Danny Graydon of BBC Films said, clearly Hollywood's confidence in this film is lower than Pee Wee Herman's Oscar chances, and their instincts are right. A boring, formulaic mix of serial killers and stalk and slash. This will reinvigorate Sylvester Stallone's action hero status or loosen his maniacal destruction of the quality control button. All right, let's go on IMDb and see what's happening here. Detox 2002, rated R, 1 hour 36 minutes. Don't look through that peephole. I'm watching the muted trailer here. It gets a 5.3 out of 10, which is similar to my rating on IMDb. 30,000 ratings, though. So it's widely known, but not exactly popular. A lead detective being stalked by a serial killer is asked to check into a clinic treating law enforcement officers who can't face their jobs. So they go up to Wyoming in the middle of a snow blizzard with a serial killer running amok. All right, more like this. Avenging Angelo, Daylight, Get Carter, and The Specialist. After the movie was finished in 1999, Universal Studios decided to screen it to a test audience. All the screenings of the first cut got very bad reactions, and the film was then shelved while reshoots and story changes were being done. A new ending was also filmed in which the main villain is killed in a different way, but even after reshoots and title changes, the movie's working titles were Detox, The Outpost, and ICU. Universal Studios didn't care for it. After test screenings for the new version also got negative response. It finally received a limited release 3 years after completion. In Q&A for Ain't It Cool News in December 2006, Sylvester Stallone was asked why the movie didn't get a wider release, and he answered, "It's very simple why Detox landed in limbo." And I've already been through that. I'm not going to repeat it again. When Malloy is kissing his girlfriend after bringing her the toy monkey, his nose is on the right side of her nose. The POV changes and his nose is now on the other side. Here's some quotes from ICU. The 911 operator says, "911, what is your emergency?" Disguised voice, "I'm tired of the way things are as opposed to the way they should be." This is during the opening credits. 911 operator, "Is this an emergency? Where are you located?" Disguised voice, "That really doesn't matter, so hear me out." 911 operator, "Can we have your name, please?" Disguised voice, "Of course, common denominator, your man in the street. Now don't ask another question or I'll be obliged to do bad. Doing bad, you have to assume responsibility. No interruptions. That's natural selection. Born to win, born to lose, born to die. 3 situations that make up everything in the world. No interference, but interference happens. People need to fear the importance task I enjoy doing. I don't believe people are good, not good by nature, not at all. So if you remove the rule of authority, even the police, then you'll see life as God intended it to be, a world of pandemonium and quotients. Without rules, the weak and disease would be gone. Streets red with blood, the way nature intended it to be. There will be another body found. Thank you for your time." This was featured in The Search of Last Action Heroes, 2019. Soundtracks, One More Night, written and performed by Gib Droll, courtesy of Droll Music. The music is terrible in this. All right, here's a more flattering review from Al Pacino, 2007, dated October 31st, 2004. He doesn't give it a rating, but the title of the IMDb movie review is "Stallone is good in this, ... We all remember him as Rocky or Rambo. It's unfortunately sad that the critics won't agree when Sly does anything outside the action genre. This sounds very much like Karate Man. Uh, idol worship. Anyway, the movie is the kind that you would watch when you're with your girlfriend or a loved one, someone on a rainy night. Yeah, I like the kind of dark tone and depressing surroundings of both Seattle and Wyoming. Troubled ex cops are in a detox center. Something goes wrong when they start winding up dead. It's up to Stallone to catch the killer. Sylvester Stallone is good as the main character, Robert Patrick, the guy in the Terminator and the X Files series. I thought he was in T2. Is really good. Yeah. I like how he's able to distort his face. He looks like the original Lon Chaney. He really goes into overdrive at the end with his bad guy routine. So Robert Patrick gives a 10 out of 10 in his performance in this movie without giving away anything else. It's a good movie, and Stallone, just like in the last decade, is very, very underrated. He can act. He can act. Okay, this sounds very much like Karate Man here. Is Karate Man actually Al Pacino 2007 on IMDb? Oh, he's given a 3 out of 5. Same rating as mine. Never mind. So this person is actually giving it the same rating as mine while saying that Stallone is underrated. And the critics don't know what they're talking about. So there you have it. Karate Man was onto something here. Although it's not a great movie, it's a little bit better than what people give it credit for on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. And I'm done with my review. I haven't seen Karate Man since what? I don't know. I don't know. He keeps Karate Man ran out of recommendations, so he keeps asking how many years until this movie, how many years until that movie, and I tell him 8 years, and then I don't hear from him again. I don't know. I haven't seen him in the chat room all day long. And Jeff Jaffe wanted to be in the chat room, but he doesn't know what time my live streams are happening on a given day. So that's it. I'm done reviewing for this weekend. I'm going to try to add some more George Kennedy movies to my list, take a long nappy poo, finish off the rest of my white wine, get some of the red wine for tomorrow night. I got 3 bottles of free wine at my work, and it's not even holiday season anymore. I think Sunday is the last day of Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I've got dental work on the 18th. I'm getting paid on the 15th. Thank God. I've been living off my credit card for the past week, and week and a half, I guess. And so I've got to pay off my credit card and my car bill and my crown, my dental crown. Um, I don't know if I'm going to have enough money left to make it through the next couple months. We'll see how it turns out, but I'm really struggling financially right now. And I don't know when a settlement is coming down the pike with these stupid homeowner people. But my son is getting confirmed on May 3rd at the cathedral in San Francisco. I got a sponsor, my church friend, Terrence Collins, the crazy racist dude. And I'm looking forward to seeing Terrence tomorrow. Laters.